December 1st, 1948. On the sands of Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia, the morning sun reveals a strange sight. A man, impeccably dressed in a suit and tie, is slumped against the seawall, his head resting on the stone. He looks like he could be sleeping, but he's perfectly still, too still. This was the beginning of one of Australia's most enduring mysteries, the case of the Somerton man. When police arrived, they found a man with no identification. His pockets held a bus ticket, a train ticket, a pack of chewing gum, and some cigarettes. All the labels on his clothing had been meticulously cut off. He had no wallet, no cash, no keys. It was as if he wanted to be a ghost. The autopsy revealed he was in peak physical condition, around 40 to 45 years old. His cause of death was puzzling. The coroner suspected poisoning, but no trace of any known poison could be found. His last meal was a pasty, eaten 3 to 4 hours before his death. Who was this man, and how did he die on a quiet Australian beach? The first clue, or what seemed like one, was the unused train ticket in his pocket. It was for a train to Henley Beach, but he had taken a bus to the Somerton area instead. Why the change of plans? Why buy a ticket you never intended to use? The investigation was going nowhere. Weeks turned into months. The man's body remained unclaimed in the morgue. Police made a plaster cast of his head and shoulders and released his fingerprints to the public, hoping for a lead. The case went international. Photos were sent around the world, but no one came forward to identify him. He was a man without a past, a face without a name. As police prepared to bury the unknown man, a new piece of evidence emerged, one that would deepen the mystery and introduce a layer of code breaking and possible espionage. A local businessman came forward. On the day the body was found, he had discovered a book in the back of his unlocked car, which had been parked near Somerton Beach. The book was a rare copy of The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a collection of Persian poems. He hadn't thought much of it until he saw a news report about the case. When police examined the book, they found something extraordinary. On the final page, torn from the bottom, was a tiny, rolled-up piece of paper. Printed on it were 2 words, Tamam Shud. It's a Persian phrase that means, "It is ended," or "the end." This phrase is the final line of The Rubaiyat. The scrap of paper was a perfect match for the torn page in the book found in the car. It was the missing piece. The book was a direct link to the dead man. Was this a suicide note? A final poetic declaration? The police were now certain they had the Somerton man's copy of the book, but this discovery only opened up more questions. Inside the back cover of the book, written in faint pencil, were several lines of what appeared to be a code. It was a jumble of capital letters with one line crossed out. Top code breakers from the military and intelligence agencies were brought in to decipher it. They tried every known method, but the code remained unbroken. To this day, its meaning is a complete mystery. Was it a random doodle, or something more sinister? The book held another secret. Faintly indented on a back page, almost invisible to the naked eye, was a phone number. This was a massive breakthrough. The number belonged to a woman named Jessica Thompson, a nurse who lived just a short walk from where the body was found. When detectives questioned her, she was evasive and seemed distressed. They showed her the plaster cast of the Somerton man's face. According to one detective on the scene, her reaction was extreme. She nearly fainted, looking as though she was about to collapse. Yet she denied ever knowing him. She denied any connection to the case. Her behavior was suspicious, to say the least. She did admit, however, that she had once owned a copy of the Rubaiyat and had given it to a man named Alfred Boxall during World War II. For a moment, police thought they had their man. Alfred Boxall must be the Somerton man. They tracked him down only to find him alive and well in Sydney. Even more bizarrely, Boxall still had his copy of the Rubaiyat, the one Jessica had given him. And inside, on the last page, she had written a verse for him. But his copy was not the one found near the beach. So there were 2 books. Why had Jessica Thompson reacted so strongly? Did she know the dead man after all, and was she trying to protect herself or someone else? The mystery deepened. Here was a potential witness, perhaps the only person who knew the man's identity, and she was refusing to talk. For decades, her identity was kept secret, only referred to as Justin in police files. She took the secret of what she knew to her grave. The story gets even stranger. Years later, Jessica Thompson's daughter, Kate, came forward with a new theory. She believed the Somerton man was her father, and that both her mother and father were Soviet spies. She pointed out that her brother, Robin, had unusual physical features, like his ears and teeth, that bore a striking resemblance to the dead man. Could the Somerton man have been a spy involved in a clandestine love affair? Was he killed by enemy agents? Or did he take his own life when his mission was compromised? The Cold War was in full swing in 1948. Adelaide was near the Woomera Prohibited Area, a top-secret rocket testing range. It was a hotbed for intelligence gathering. The idea of a spy washing up on a local beach suddenly didn't seem so far-fetched. The unbreakable code, the untraceable poison, the removed clothing labels, it all starts to fit the profile of a professional operative trying to erase his identity. For over 70 years, the Somerton man lay in a grave marked simply the unknown man, but the story wasn't over. In 2021, after years of public pressure and advancements in technology, authorities exhumed his body. The goal was to finally unlock his identity through DNA analysis. A researcher from the University of Adelaide, Professor Derek Abbott, had been working on the case for years. Using hairs trapped in the original plaster death mask, he and his team managed to build a comprehensive DNA profile. They constructed a massive family tree, tracing distant relatives until they honed in on one specific person. In July 2022, they announced a breakthrough. They had a name. Professor Abbott revealed that the Somerton man was Carl Charles Webb, an electrical engineer and instrument maker born in Melbourne in 1905. He was 43 years old when he died. Records show that Webb had a wife, Dorothy, from whom he was separated. His life after their separation is a blank. He seemed to have simply vanished from official records. So, we have a name, but the mystery is far from solved. Why did Carl Webb travel to Adelaide under an assumed identity? Why did he have a secret code in his possession? And what was his connection to Jessica Thompson? Professor Abbott discovered that Webb's brother-in-law was named Thomas Keene, and Jessica Thompson's maiden name was Keene. There might be a family connection there. Or perhaps Webb knew her through her husband, Prosper Thompson. We still don't know for sure. And most importantly, we still don't know how he died. Was it suicide? Was it murder? The poison theory remains strong, but without a body to re-examine, it's impossible to confirm. The case of Carl Charles Webb, the Somerton man, is a powerful reminder that sometimes, even when you find a name, the story is not over. The man has an identity, but the ghost still has its secrets. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into historical mysteries.